Zangpo, a warm welcome to Bhutan This Week. My name is Samtan Dolkar. Our top stories this week. Her Majesty the Gilson graced groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of mental health hospital in Thimphu. Fuel prices rise to new high and could go higher. And bank deposits increase significantly amid the pandemic. Her Majesty the Gilson graced the groundbreaking ceremony for the Pema Center, a hospital for mental health within the JDWNRH complex in Thimphu. A royal initiative of Her Majesty the Gilson, the Pema Center will be a 60-bedded hospital inclusive of outpatient consultation and counseling, emergency services, treatment and procedure rooms, and inpatient wards.
Addressing the ceremony, Her Majesty the Gilson highlighted the gap between the number of people who need mental health care and those who receive it, as well as the stigma associated with mental health conditions, which causes hesitation in reaching out for timely support. Her Majesty said that this must change, and with the first step, mental health will have the national priority that it deserves. Also speaking at the event, the Health Minister thanked Her Majesty for the royal guidance in spearheading national efforts for mental well-being in Bhutan. Besides the hospital, Rinpoche said this includes Her Majesty's stewardship of the overarching strategy for mental well-being of the people of Bhutan at a time when such guidance and direction is needed more than ever before. The ceremony was attended by the Prime Minister and other senior officials. Sunampem for BBS News.
The country completed the 5-day second dose vaccination campaign for children aged between 12 and 17 years last month. However, the country failed to achieve the 80% full vaccination coverage of the total population, which health experts say is needed to achieve herd immunity. Only 76% of the total population is fully vaccinated against COVID-19 as of now.
A total number of over 68,000 children have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Mongar, Lunsi, Wandapoda, Bumta and Bunaka have vaccinated its entire targeted children's population, taking its percentage coverage to 100%. Meanwhile, in the rest of the 15 Dzongkhaks, just over 37,000 have been vaccinated, taking the percentage coverage to 88%. However, the targeted population of children between 12 and 17 years was almost 43,000. This means about 6,000 of them are not vaccinated. There are about 75,000 children of this age group in the country. Meanwhile, more than 2,600 adults were also vaccinated in the 5 days. Pima Saldun-Sring, BBS News.
Phinsoling has not seen a single case of COVID-19 for nearly 3 months now. However, the risk still looms large. Sharing a long porous border with the neighboring Indian state of West Bengal, and the surge in COVID cases there have always kept the residents on their toes.
After 4 months of lockdown, the town reopened in August this year. However, with threats just next door, the Southern COVID-19 Task Force is strictly monitoring the residents' compliance with safety protocols.
Dere mam ngacha mam gara misaldu punzu ridi benila zomni di asiche ani di asiche phasi bena asla lalugi gomchome
mark me wachuru mark se phime police se te marks machumi dis ming thoke gara ming dibe bajume dan bedalo desuk da police gi di la titibi beme te namesam kadi chese sini.
Besides the public, the task force is also monitoring the frontline workers. In the last 24 hours, West Bengal has reported more than 900 COVID-positive cases. It is an increase of about 200 cases compared to last month. Similarly, Assam has also recorded increasing cases of infection over the last month. For Sonam Penjor in Phuntsholing, Cheku for BBS News.
The Election Commission of Bhutan extended the registration of the postal ballot for the local government elections till the 10th of this month. The registration, which was supposed to end on Monday, was extended given the COVID-19 situation in the country. More than 100,000 voters have registered as of now.
파슈 짭금이데 다리나마 니엠기 내땅날로 같이 미디수 가데 타타 초경기 강민나 좀 닐레 제 가데 타타마 펍디베 데 안에 버치 뎀통 초경기 그 튕긴디 주답 로치 버친 데 미남스미 좀조루루 베메고 베발라 데 안에 좀조루루 베우다라 때 같이 니엠디 마퇴 마친디 때 같이 라케라 카지자메 가이메 버퇴 마친 파다수 달샵 존이 년카두 아닐레 깍탑루 믹디베 땡아치기 가데 타타치 뎀통 초겐루 데 초겐기 튕겐디 데 롱주나세.
It was another blow to the country's already expensive commodities. The fuel price rose to a new high on Monday. The International Energy Agency, a Paris-based organization, forecasts the price for the natural oil to continue to grow this year. In Bhutan, the price of petrol increased by almost 5 ngitum and diesel by almost 3 ngitum. The price of petrol in Thimphu increased to 86 ngitum per litre, while diesel costs nearly 83 ngitum per litre today. The price of fuel is revised twice a month. The increase is due to the rising price of global crude oil and rupee depreciation. Global oil demand is expected to reach pre-pandemic levels by early next year as the economy recovers. Bhutan's fuel price is dependent on the Indian economy since Bhutan directly imports fossil fuel products from India. The Indian fuel prices are, however, determined by international oil prices as well as the dollar-rupee value as India imports oil. In India, the prices of petrol and diesel continue to remain high. The price of petrol in India's capital city, Delhi, rose to 110 rupees a litre and petrol costs 98 rupees a litre. In its monthly report, the International Energy Agency forecast increase in global oil demand in 2022. By then, the supply will be high enough to allow oil stocks to be replenished. Samtin Dolkar, BBS News. The RCSC has decided to revise the winter working hours of the civil servants starting from 1st November this year for the first time. Unlike previous years, the working hours during winter will also be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. According to the Commission, the working hours will be revised depending on the situation in the future. Today, there are about 32,000 civil servants.
We can see that domestic revenues are also declining. So these are a difficult situation for our country, and our civil servants have worked very hard so far. They have been key in mitigating the effects of the pandemic. So and going forward, the civil service is also key in recovery, economic recovery. So in this context, the Royal Civil Service Commission took the decision to keep the office timings the same for summer and winter months. And this is to enhance good governance and also to increase access to service delivery by all citizens for public service delivery.
The least developed countries want the world leaders at the COP26 to present the progress that will see emissions halved by 2030. Bearing significant impact of climate change despite contributing the least to it, the group also wants the world leaders to increase climate finance to support climate actions in developing countries. The LDC group, consisting of 26 countries, met in Glasgow ahead of United Nations Climate Conference to prepare for climate talks.
A news release from the LDC chair's office said, during the meeting, the LDC chair expressed the need to call for deep and sustained emissions reductions target from the world leaders. The National Environment Commission Secretary Sonam Phuntsawangdi is the chair of the LDCs. He said that the pledges made by the world leaders so far come nowhere to halving emissions by 2030. He also expressed disappointment over the delay in delivering the promised amount of climate finance. Climate finance is critical for LDCs to build resilience against natural disasters and adapt to climate impacts. It is also important to address losses and damages caused by the impacts of climate change. In 2015, the developed countries committed to mobilizing $100 billion every year in climate finance to developing countries. LDC's climate action plans are estimated to cost close to $4 billion per year. Losses and damages due to climate change are estimated to cost between $300 to $600 billion by 2030 in developing countries alone. As the chair of LDCs, Bhutan will lead the group at the climate conference that starts today until 12th November. Pugem for BBS News.
The Panbang Dunga court sentenced the Goshing Gup of Shemgang to 8 years in prison for embezzlement of public funds. The Gup, who is currently suspended, has also been ordered to restitute more than 4 million item. The case had already gone through the lower courts and reached the Supreme Court in May, but it was sent back to the Dunga court. The Supreme Court had stated that a proper investigation on one charge was not carried out. As per the Civil and Criminal Procedure Code of Bhutan, the appellate court may remand or send back a case to the lower court with instructions. As per the order, the lower court did not do a proper evaluation on the fuel-related embezzlement charges. In 2019, the Panbang Dunga court sentenced the suspended Gup to over 10 years in prison. He had been found guilty on 10 counts, including embezzlement, solicitation, fraudulent claim, and other official misconduct. The Dunga court also ordered him to restitute almost 3 million item. After it was appealed, the case was forwarded directly to the High Court from the Dunga court. This was to avoid conflict of interest because the case was prosecuted by the Jemgang Drangpun while he was in the office of the Attorney General. In May, the High Court sentenced the Gup to 8 years in prison for embezzlement of public funds. The High Court had convicted him for embezzling public funds by inflating hiring charges and fuel procurement receipts. He was also found guilty of embezzling public funds by keeping fake wage records. The court ordered him to restitute almost 2.9 million item. In the latest verdict, the Panbang Dunga court also sentenced 6 employees of Bhutan Oil Corporation of Gelifu Depot involved in the embezzlement case from 2 months to 2 years 6 months in prison. However, they can pay in lieu of their prison terms. All 6 of them had been acquitted earlier due to lack of evidence. 4 of them had been acquitted by the Dunga court in December 2019, and the remaining 2 were acquitted by the High Court in May this year. The Anti-Corruption Commission investigated the issue in 2016 following a complaint alleging the Gup of embezzling funds meant for construction of a geo-connectivity road. For Pema Seldon String, Samton Dolkar, BBS News. The first ever biography of Guru Rinpoche, written by Bhutanese authors under the command of His Majesty the King, was launched on Wednesday. The book highlights Guru Rinpoche's life and legacy and his contribution towards shaping the social, cultural and spiritual identity of the Bhutanese people.
The 700-page book is titled The Life and Deeds of Padmasambhava, a Bhutanese Chronicle. According to the authors, out of about 24 biographies of Guru Rinpoche that exist today, not a single one has details about his life and works in Bhutan. To fill this gap, 4 authors in the country came together to compile accounts of Guru Rinpoche's life and works in Bhutan.
Most of us know what Guru Rinpoche looks like by looking at his statue or a thangka or a thongdrel. But if we were to ask who was Guru Rinpoche really, what did he do in the Himalayas, where did he come from, not many people know the details. So this book basically gives a story of who he is or who we believe he is and what he has left behind as a legacy for all of us.
The authors began their research project in 2016 under the management of the National Library and Archives in the Department of Culture. The research project, worth about 9 million yutum, was funded by the Indian government. Sunampem for BBS News.
Now, if you have been saving your money lately, then you are among thousands who are managing the income better. In the recent past, people in the country have been saving a little more compared to the past. More banks in the country have reported more than 20% growth in deposits over the past more than a year. From about 46 billion item in 2018, the Bank of Bhutan reported 80 billion item deposits as of September this year. The annual increase in the past would be less than 10%, but last year it saw an unusual increase of 31%.
So now people are, especially the salaried, the civil servants, the corporate employees, the private companies are more into opening of the recurring time deposits, the fixed deposits and the recurring deposits. I think so, which has, as I mentioned earlier, so there's an increase in the deposit figures.
Similarly, the Bhutan National Bank also reported over 20% growth in deposits since the pandemic in March last year. The bank reported a whopping 46 billion item deposits as of September this year as compared to 29 billion in 2017.
Saving culture is not very popular. At least it never has been popular in the past. But now with the pandemic coming in and people realizing that there needs to be money in the bank, we have never seen that kind of a jump in any particular year.
According to the State of Financial Inclusion Report 2020, more people opened bank accounts last year compared to 2019.
Saving na jabe recurring daribin tonthare
I can save only about 6,000 yiltrum monthly after paying my bills. It will help me during difficult times.
According to the banks, the sudden shift in the saving culture could be due to easy access to banking services, change in spending habits, and the need for emergency funds. The pandemic has been a hard blow to many, but if it is one thing that taught us, it is the value of savings. Samtin Dolkar, BBS News. More and more people in the country are becoming serious about fitness. This is evident from the increasing number of people flocking to fitness centers. One fitness program that has been gaining popularity, especially in the capital, is the Zumba. Zumba is an aerobic fitness program in the form of dance, which not only helps reduce weight but improves mental well-being as well.
Every move contains basic principles of exercise. It is also fun. The exercises hit all parts of the body and are performed at different speeds according to the music tempo. People who go for Zumba classes say the result is surprising.
It has been 4 months since I joined Zumba. It is more effective than gym. Today I can perform all kinds of tasks without any difficulty, and also I don't feel exhausted even when I'm working for the whole day.
Last few months ago I put on weight, a lot of weight, and I wasn't feeling good about myself. Then one of my friends introduced me to this class and said, why don't I try it? So I came to try, and ever since then I haven't stopped. 2 months this year, and I've been doing well, and I think it really helped me not only physically, mentally also. It made me feel good.
According to a Zumba trainer, the dance fitness program improves both physical and mental well-being.
So Zumba helps us through improve our strength, core, and our confidence. So it helps us to reduce weight, and it gains so much of strength and power. Zumba not only reduces weight, so we focus on like improving the mental well-being.
From the health perspective, Zumba is good for core strengthening and body flexibility.
Zumba and all these dance-based fitness, they try to encompass around all four of these, majorly achieving cardio and strength as well, because there are various moves that try to work toward strength training as well. And in the process, it also helps achieve balance and flexibility.
Currently, there are about a dozen licensed fitness centers in the country, with most of it located in Thimphu. For Sonam Tenzin, Chirku for PBS News.
And that's all we have for you this week. Thanks for joining us.